Okay, this might very well be the most depressing episode of Inside the Lines this entire year. Yeah, not a good day in the world of motorsports to say the least. Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the episode of Inside the Lines. Two episodes in one day. I don't think that's ever been done before on this show, but hey, first for everything. But not a happy episode to say the least. We have two stories to talk about here today, one from IndyCar and one from NASCAR, and they're both bad, to say the least. Let's first start off with IndyCar. As we all know, the next race on the schedule is the Indianapolis 500, scheduled for August 23rd. Well, unfortunately, it was announced just a few minutes ago, actually about half an hour ago to be exact, at the time of this recording, that the Indy 500 on August 23rd will take place with 0 fans. That's right, no fans are going to be allowed during the entire portion of the month of August, I guess you could say, for the Indianapolis 500. Now, rumors started to swirl around, I believe, of the possibility of fans not being allowed. One report came out a couple days ago that activities for I think the first day of scheduled stuff for the Indy 500 will be pushed back by one day. Then this sort of got people kind of concerned, I guess, that, okay, this is not good. We're pushing everything back, trying to condense everything. Some people even said that there was a strong chance that by the time we got to Indy 500 race month, that there'd be no fans, and now it has been confirmed. And what's interesting about this is that there's a whole timetable of Roger Penske and IMS stating that we're going to have fans. Okay, we're going to have 50%. All right, we'll have 25%. And now we get down to 0. In fact, here's a look at that timetable. June 7th, Indy 500 will only happen with fans in attendance. And that came from Roger Penske himself, saying basically how the Indy 500 is meant to have fans in attendance. It just will not feel right with no one there. Then, on June 26th, 3 weeks later, fans at the 2020 Indy 500 will only be allowed up to 50%. All right, bit concerning, but 50% still good. And then about a few days later, July 4th, amid the COVID-19 surge in Marion County, which is where the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is at, Penske still defended the plan to hold the 500 at least up to 50% capacity. 3 weeks later, the 500 announced that they would hold up to 25% capacity, with ticket sales ending on July 24th, mask wearing mandatory, and an 88 to 90 page plan on everything that would take place that weekend. And then 1 week later, the Indiana University Health, which is a partner with IMS, said that it was against running the Indy 500 and considered an alternate. And then it finally accumulated up to today, when the 500 announced that they have finally said that they will not have fans allowed due to growing concerns of COVID-19. This just sucks. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I think I was more on the optimist side of things. I was thinking, they're going to have fans. I mean, look at other tracks like, in NASCAR, they've done that. Bristol, so far, I think in Bristol, Texas, they've reported 0 cases, which is fantastic. And so I believe that there may be a possibility, a good chance that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway can come up with a plan to make sure fans that are at the track can come in safe and leave safe. But yeah, I think when the Indiana University of Health is suggesting to not hold the 500 with fans, I think it's safe to say you take their advice. And this year has absolutely sucked for the world of motorsports. I mean, things being pushed back, things being canceled, this and that, and now everything. And now I think this might be the biggest blow of the year with the 500 not having fans. It's like, it just doesn't feel right. It's when you have the Super Bowl of your sport taking place, it needs to have fans. It just doesn't feel right. It's like having the Super Bowl without fans, or the World Series without fans, the Stanley Cup playoffs without fans, the Daytona 500 without fans, things like that. It needs to have fans in attendance because it makes the atmosphere that much better, and it makes the experience that much more fun. And to not have fans in attendance throughout all the activities, so through carb day and all practice and all qualifying and things like that absolutely sucks. Yeah, I just feel bad for the people that were actually going to Indianapolis to attend the race. Now, I've heard people say that if you're not going to run fans, why not cancel the event? I just that's not gonna happen. I think there's too much money involved to cancel the event. I mean, you have big time sponsors are paying big money to put their logos, to put their brands on race cars, on billboards, on TV with commercials and things like that. I think it'd just be stupid to cancel the Indy 500. But at the same time, I understand why people would want it to be canceled. It's like, again, it's like the Super Bowl of it's like your Super Bowl of your sport and not having fans in attendance, like the World Series not having fans, or the Daytona 500 not having fans. It just doesn't feel right. The atmosphere of having fans in attendance, having 160,000 people screaming, having fun, it brings the atmosphere that much more, and it makes the experience much more enjoyable. But yeah, I don't think the 500 should be canceled. Again, too much money involved, but yeah, that sucks. Absolutely sucks to see this happen. And we continue on with bad news in our final story revolving NASCAR. Now, because of COVID-19, there were concerns of teams possibly shutting down or having problems getting through the season because of money problems. Well, we got to an announcement that one team, a very popular team, will be shutting its doors at the end of the 2020 season, and that is Leavine Family Racing. They have confirmed to multiple sources earlier today that they will be selling the team to most likely Spire Agency, I should say. It hasn't been confirmed, but sources are saying that they're going to be selling the team to Spire Agency at the end of the 2020 season. In a statement from Bob Leavine, the owner of LFR, he said, quote, "It's with great sadness today that I announced the sale of the Leavine Family Racing Team, assets, and charter. Since 2011, Sharon and our entire family have enjoyed being a part of the NASCAR community, with Matt DiLiberto joining the family as a co-owner in 2016. We will say goodbye at the conclusion of the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series season. This decision has not been made lightly. Family has always been a part of the team's name, and this is how we view every member of our race team, as our family. There is no good time to make this announcement, but doing it earlier allows our people to explore employment opportunities for next season to provide for their families. There will be opportunities with the new owners, which was important to our decision. This year has been challenging for not only our race team, but our industry, our country, and the entire world. The pandemic has impacted our economy, and unfortunately, that's just not something we are able to overcome in order to continue racing beyond this season. Leavine Family Racing will continue to compete through the end of 2020. We want to leave on a positive note, contending for top finishes with Christopher Bell, Toyota, TRD, and all of our partners. Thank you to our partners and fans, and most of all, thank you to everyone who has been part of the Leavine Family Racing family over the last decade." Now, after he posted that announcement, or the team posted that announcement, Bob Leavine went on a teleconference with multiple reporters, and I took a bit of just some notes on some, I think, important points that came out of that conference. Bob Leavine said that no cars were involved in the sale and that all the cars will go back to JGR. The sale includes a charter, building, and inventory. LFR won't say who bought the team, as well as there is no TRD deal as part of the sale. Leavine said his construction company is the team's biggest sponsor, and that being WRL, if I'm not mistaken, Construction Incorporated. His main partner in real estate. Both hit hard by a pandemic. They had hoped to sell 11 races of sponsorship, which didn't come to fruition. Said couldn't afford JGR affiliation in 2021, and he planned on just going off of 1 year maybe and relying on the next gen car to sort of bring down the cost for him to be able to manage a team. Leavine said he could not put the money into the race team to run competitively to risk his 41-year-old construction business. As far as charter goes, he didn't feel he got out of the charter what he paid for it. Leavine said he was not able to get it done and does not know how much money it would have taken. It wasn't a waste of time, but he also said he didn't accomplish what he wanted. He also didn't want to go in too deep on the thoughts of NASCAR's business model because he said they must still race this year. So there are some things I want to point out here. Some people are bringing up, oh, this is Furniture Row Racing all over again. JGR kills another Toyota team. I don't see that as the case. I feel like that it's just bad timing, I feel like, to be honest. I think if COVID-19 did not take place, I don't think we would be in the situation of LFR possibly selling the team. I don't think we would be in this situation at all. It just so happens that The same year that he got into an agreement or into a partnership with JGR, the pandemic takes place. But I will say, it is another example of JGR raising up the price once again for other small Toyota teams, and unfortunately they having a result to shut down. Because of that, they were forced to shut down. But unlike the Furniture Row incident, where that was a direct cause, this one is sort of it's just another nail in the coffin. It's sort of like COVID-19 pandemic, and on top of that, you have to pay more money to stay affiliated with JGR. It just wasn't going to work. And I just feel bad because I think Leavine Family Racing was a team that I don't know if anyone hated. I mean, usually there are teams that you don't like. There are some teams that don't like Penske, for its drivers, or some don't like JGR. But Leavine was a team that I think everybody rallied around. Since the beginning, since 2017, 2018, they all rallied behind Leavine Family Racing. Mainly because of Bob Leavine, and Matt DiBenedetto in 2018. But, Bob Leavine, he's an owner that I think is an owner that we all love in NASCAR. Very open. Sometimes you can be a bit too open with the public on things that we didn't even know about. But he's very transparent and is an owner that I think we all need in the sport. And the fact that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season is truly sad. It's sad, very sad to say the least. Again, the team as a whole, we all rallied against. We all wanted this team to be successful. It's like someone was even speculating that LFR could be the next Furniture Row Racing. Maybe not in terms of championships or winning races like FRR did, but in terms of being another competitive Toyota team. Because at the end of the season, there's only going to be 3 standing Toyota teams: Gaunt Brothers Racing, MBM Motorsports, and JGR. So basically, there's only one good Toyota team. No offense to those other 2, but let's just say no one really cares about those 2. They only care about the big teams. And Leavine Family Racing was going to be one of those big Toyota teams, I felt like, in the future. Now, another point that Bob Leavine brought up that I want to talk about is the charter system. I think he said that whatever he paid, felt like he didn't get enough reward for it back, or it didn't get for what he paid for. This is a growing problem with the charter system, and I don't think any race fan likes a charter system. For the people that like it, they probably don't have a full grasp about it. But I, for one, have never liked the charter system. I think it's a really dumb idea and something that needs to go. Sure, it gives people stability or gives teams value. I guess that's what NASCAR says, but there's no need for this. And again, I'm not saying this is a cause of it, but I mean, when you're having teams like LFR forking $2 or $3 million, I mean, that's big money you're giving them away, and I think it's just not fair to do that. But yeah, it's just another example, I think, as to why I do not like the charter system. And I think why NASCAR needs a complete overhaul in their business model, not only with the teams, but also with sponsors, with driver like free agency, and like trying to lower the risk of paid drivers and everything like that. NASCAR's business model is so, I want to say corrupt, but it's just so messed up. The charter system, there's so many flaws in the system, and NASCAR really needs to take a good look at it in the future, in the very near future, to prevent things like this happening. And one more thing I want to point out is the future of not LFR, but the driver, Christopher Bell. He's not going to have a ride next year. So now Joe Gibbs has to come up with a very difficult decision. Do I go with Eric Jones or do I go with Christopher Bell? I don't know who you go with. With some situations it's very easy. You go with this driver or you go with that driver. I really don't know who you go with either Jones or Bell. I don't know who you pick. But one thing I will say, I have a strong feeling that Gibbs is going to go with Christopher Bell because of how young he is and how much he really likes Bell. I see Bell replacing Eric Jones next year. I think the original plan was to keep Jones in the 20 car and have Bell basically be a 5th Gibbs car. I feel like that was at first the plan, but now with LFR leaving, that puts Bell out of a ride. And JGR is not going to let Bell go. They do not want to see Bell go to Hendrick in a Chevy or go to a Ford team. Just throwing an example. They want him in the Toyota camp. TRD does, Joe Gibbs does, the team does. They all want him in a Toyota next year. Well, there's only one spot available for 2 drivers. So who do you go with? I really don't know. But I will say, if Bell does, I feel like though Bell has a much better chance of going to the 20 car than Eric Jones does. And if that's the case, where does Jones go? More than likely, he might be going to Hendrick, but at the same time, I also don't see that happening because you have to understand, Eric Jones has underperformed. He has underdelivered at Joe Gibbs, specifically this year. I know someone brought up on how he has a better average finish, and I think more top 10s than William Byron and Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, that's true, but he's still below them in the point standings. Even after Jimmy missed a race, Jimmy is still higher than Eric Jones. That spells bad news when you're still below a driver even after he missed the race. And on top of that, you're in better equipment than that driver. And when you look at how the Hendrick cars are running, they usually run right around each other. Jones is in a Gibbs car, and when you look at his other 3 teammates and how good they're performing comparing to how bad Jones is running, to say that he deserves a 48 car, Reddick and Wallace have a better chance of driving the 48 car than Eric Jones, at least I feel like. But it's sad, but it also brings a very interesting take on the NASCAR's business model and how much it needs to change, and how basically needs a complete overhaul, to say the least. And also very, very interesting to see what direction will Joe Gibbs take. Will he go with the route and stick with Eric Jones, or will he go with a new route, in taking Christopher Bell? Man, silly season, man. It's in full swing, to say the least. But yeah, that is going to end off this episode of Inside the Lines. Sorry if I'm in a sucky mood. I mean, 2 stories that it put me in a bad mood. I mean, Indy 500, no fans. Leavine Family Racing, a team that I love. To be honest, look, I'm not a fan of Toyota, but I like LFR, and the fact that they're shutting down, it hurts. It does sting. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on any of those 2 stories? What are your thoughts on the Indy 500 not having any fans? Do you think they should just cancel it outright? No fans, then what's the point of the race? Or do you feel like they should continue on regardless of no fans being in attendance? And also, what are your thoughts on Leavine Family Racing shutting down? What are your thoughts on the charter system and the business model of NASCAR? And finally, your thoughts on who will Joe Gibbs take, Bell or Jones? Again, leave all your comments down below. But that will conclude another episode of Inside the Lines, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. But until next time, my name is JettMDK, and I'll see you guys next time.